Good morning, students. In the last class, we started discussed about our modern periodic table, which is also known as long form of the periodic table. About that, how many periods are there, how many groups are there, we discussed, and even in detail, we discussed about periods. Now, in today's class, let us discuss about groups. Okay. So first, keep the subheading in the notes as groups. First of all, what is meant by group? A group is nothing but the vertical columns present in the periodic table. Okay. Yesterday we discussed about the horizontal rows, which are known as periods. Now coming to the groups, these vertical columns are known as groups. Okay. So how many groups are present? Yesterday we already discussed that in the modern periodic table we have 18 groups. Okay. Now first, let us discuss about the representation of these groups. Generally, according to IUPAC system, we know the groups generally they will be represented as from 1A to 8th, nothing but in Roman letters 1 to 8 groups. So again, all these 8 groups, there will be two types. A type of groups as well as a B type of groups. Okay. Or nowadays simply we are representing from 1 to 18 numbers also. Okay. Now look at the representation. It can be the first group is represented as a 1A group. And the second group is represented is 2A. Here you should be careful. Instead of third A, here you will get a 3B group, 4B, 5B, 6th B, 7th B, and 8th group. Okay. So after this a B type of groups, then here comes our first B, then 2B. Okay. After this 8th B type of groups, then you will get first B and second B. After this, the continuation of this previous one, A type of groups will be continued. Third A, fourth A, fifth A, sixth A, as well as the seventh A group. And the last one generally we call it as a zero group. Okay? Or eighth group or zero group. Eighth A generally we should say, and normally we will represent it as a zero group. Okay? So these are the total 18 groups. But if you observe this type of numbering, okay, say total you may get 16 groups only. Okay, because 8 A type of groups, 8 B type of groups. So total we may get 16. But if you observe this 8th group, generally we all know in the tabular form, this 8th B group is furtherly subdivided into 3 groups. Okay? A normal numbering wise if you go, this is first group, second group, third, fourth, this is normal numbering. Okay? So this will be 8th, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then this is normal numbering. Okay? So like this. So total number of groups are 18. Nowadays, in all these textbooks also simply we are representing the groups from normal numbers 1 to 18. But previously they used this type of numbering. Okay? So first it starts with first A group, then second A, then all the B type of groups will come. Okay? Third B onwards, it will come up to 8th, then 1B, then 2B. Okay? So all B type of groups will be finished. Now here comes A type of groups. Here till second one we discussed. Now third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Okay? So which is also known as a zero group. Okay? So everybody first focus on this representation of the groups. Okay? So we have 18 groups. We can represent simply with the normal numbers or in this manner also. Okay? If you observe these, This 1A and 2A, these two groups are generally called as S block elements. And coming from this third A to this 0 group, these 6 groups are known as P block. Okay. Now middle, whatever the B type of groups are there, generally these will be comes under D block. Okay. So all these we will discuss further in detail. So first just note down the order of arrangement of the groups in the modern periodic table. Okay. Now let us discuss about these groups. How many we have? All 18 we have. It will be very difficult to discuss about all these 18 groups in this periodic classification of elements. Okay, about each and every group in detail. About in detail in the sense what type of properties they have, like chemical properties, physical properties, and what type of compounds they will form. All these in detail we have half part in first year, remaining half part in second year. Okay. Now, first let us discuss about the S block as well as the P block. Nothing but the groups will be comes under S block as well as P block. Means mainly these A type of groups. Okay. Now, first let us discuss about this 1A group. 1A group nothing but the first group. Okay, the first nothing but extreme left hand side of the periodic table, if you observe, whatever is there, that is known as a first group, or it is known as first, represented as a first A group also. Okay, even I told you yesterday also, while discussing about the periodic table, better we should have that table in front of you, then it will be easy to understand. Okay, just from the NCERT you can get our periodic table. Once observe that diagram, it will be easy to understand, right? Now coming to this first A group. Now what are the elements present in this first A group? We need to know first of all, and everyone should remember the elements present in these 8 groups. Whatever out of the 18, minimum, whatever the 8 groups I will explain, these are very very important. Every one of you compulsory should learn the elements in the group. Okay, so you don't think that sir, they will ask that whether what element is present in this group or that group. Okay, because in many other lessons like chemical bonding or further topics related to ionic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, you will get different questions like based on the bonding or based on the properties of those compounds they will ask. To answer such type of questions, definitely if you know the position of the element in the group, then you will come to know. Okay, if the element is present in third group, you will come to know whether how much will be its valency, when it reacts with oxygen, what type of compounds it will form. Everything you will come to know. Okay, so that is why everyone should learn the elements in these groups. Okay. Now first, in the minimum basic level, first let us focus on these 8 groups. Coming to the first A group, the elements present in this group is, can we include hydrogen in this group? No. Okay, so don't include hydrogen in the first group. That is the drawback for all these table periodic classifications we discussed. So for coming to the modern periodic classification also, the position of hydrogen is, anyway it is a drawback. Okay, in the drawback section we will discuss about it. Now coming to this, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium. Okay, so note down these elements present in this first A group. The first element is lithium, the next element sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. Okay. Now let us discuss about some common properties of these elements. First important thing regarding these elements is these elements are commonly called as alkali metals. All these first A group elements are known as alkali metals. Why they called as alkali metals? Maybe you already know that alkali nothing but a base. All the oxides of these metals when dissolved in water they form alkali, means they form bases. We know NaOH, KOH, they act as strong bases. So that is why these metals are known as alkali metals. Okay. Now one more important thing, coming to their general electronic configuration. As I told you, according to Bohr, we know the properties of the elements are mainly based on the electronic configuration, valency shell electronic configuration. If you observe the valency shell electronic configuration of these elements, all these have the general configuration as NS1. Okay, so means all these elements contain only one electron in the valency shell. So the number of valence electrons is equals to only one. All these elements contains only one electron in the valency shell. So that is why, what is the common oxidation state? So when they have only one electron, we know they can lose only one electron. So that is why the common oxidation state of these elements, if you observe, they exhibit +1 oxidation state only. Okay, they don't exhibit any other oxidation state, they exhibit only +1. Okay, means they lose only one electron. Sir, why they lose only one electron? Their atomic numbers are 11, 19, different atomic numbers are there. But why all these elements will exhibit only +1 oxidation state? Means why they only lose one electron? Simple reason. They are having only one electron in the valency shell, so that's why they will lose only one electron. Okay, some other may get doubt. So okay, it is losing one electron. In the lower classes we learned that every element tries to get octet configuration. Octet means how many? 8 electrons. As like the noble gases, every element wants to attain stability by reaching that octet configuration. So you may get doubt, sir, it is having one, so why don't it gain 7 electrons? Okay. Now, we should get the doubts like that. Then only some knowledge will be developed. Simply there will be no use by hurting the concept. Okay. Now observe this one. What name we given here? We are telling that all these elements are known as alkali metals. Means what? All these elements are metals. Okay. So all the first A group elements, whatever are there, all these are metals. So what is the tendency of metals? Metals always wants to lose the electron, so they don't gain the electron. Okay, remember this point. The metal atom never gains an electron. So that is why metals always exhibits positive oxidation states. We know when electron is lost, the oxidation state will become positive. If any element gains an electron, its oxidation state will become negative. Okay. So these first A group alkali metals never, not only first A group metals, any metal never gains an electron. Metal atom. Okay. Metal atom means any metal without any charge. Atom means we know neutral charge. Okay. So that is why they cannot gain the electron. The option to get stability is by losing electrons. How many they can lose? They have one, so they can lose only one. So that is why, no doubt at all these exhibits only +1 oxidation state. Okay. So these are main properties. And one more important property coming to their reactivity. Okay. We know when compared to the remaining metals in the periodic table, the first A group metals are highly reactive metals. Okay, so the first A group metals are highly reactive metals. The high reactivity of these metals is mainly due to their, because they are highly electropositive metals. So remember that one. The first A group metals are highly reactive because they are highly electropositive. So what is electropositivity? Everything we know, and even furtherly in this lesson we will discuss. Electropositivity means what? The tendency of an element to lose the electrons. Okay. So the tendency of losing the electrons is high for these metals. So that is why even they act as a strong reducing agents. Okay, the first A group metals will be act as a strong or good reducing agents. Okay, so what is reducing agent? What reduction, oxidation generally we know, or even in details in further lessons we will discuss. So remember this main basic point regarding this first A group elements, because as a S block elements lesson we have in first year syllabus, we all know, in that even clearly all the properties of these first A and second A group elements, let us discuss in that lesson. Okay, now briefly what are the main points we need to know about this group? Let us note down. Now coming to the next group, second A group, and nothing but simply it is a second group. Okay, so after first A group, now observe the table. Now look at the elements. What are the elements in here? We need starts with beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and the last element radium. Okay, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. So these are the second A group metals. Okay, now coming to the main highlight properties of these. First of all, these group elements are also known as alkaline earth metals. As we already discussed that, the meaning of this one, because even the oxides of these metals are also when they dissolve in water, they will form alkali, nothing but they will form bases. So that is why these are also known as alkali, but available in that generally. So that is why we call these as alkaline earth metals. Okay. Now, here one more important point we need to focus is, as like the first A group, these second A group elements are also metals. So all these elements in second A are metals. Okay. Now let us focus on general electronic configuration. So second A group. First group contains one electron in the valence shell. Now if you come to the second group, these contains the general electronic configuration as NS2. Okay. So if you have a doubt, already in the previous lesson we discussed about electronic configurations, right? Now let's look at that notes. What is electronic configuration? If you observe for beryllium, electronic configuration what we got? 1s2, then 2s2, because it's atomic number 4. Now once observe for calcium. What is the electronic configuration we got for calcium? Calcium atomic number 20. So argon 18. The remaining will be present in a 4s orbital. Okay. Here n represents a orbit number. We already know the principal quantum number. So in the case of beryllium, the n value is 2. In the case of magnesium, n value 3. In the case of calcium, it is 4. Okay. Even the period number is also same as the last orbit. Beryllium is belongs to which period? Must observe from the periodic table and tell me. The first element of this group is belongs to first period? No. Yesterday also we discussed. First period contains only hydrogen and helium. Hydrogen anyway don't belongs to the first A group or to the other groups also. So that's why all these groups, the starting element belongs to second period. Okay. So second period means the last orbit is second orbit. Now magnesium is the second position in the group, nothing but it belongs to third period. Now calcium is third element in the group, so it belongs to fourth period. Okay? Right? Don't confuse with it. The first element belongs to second period. Because the first period contains only hydrogen and helium. Right? So this is second period, third period. So calcium belongs to fourth period. So its last outermost electronic configuration will be 4s2. Okay? You don't know the atomic number of barium, but still, if I ask you, what is the valency shell configuration of barium if I question, simply you can say third, fourth, fifth. It belongs to sixth period. So its valency shell electronic configuration will be 6s2. Okay? So that is why we should know the elements in at least these 8 groups. Okay? At last I will give you simple tricks also to find the location of an element in the periodic table. Okay? If I give the atomic number, I will tell you one simple trick how to find the location of the particular element. Okay? Location in the sense to which group it belongs, to which period it belongs, everything I will explain to you. Okay? Now coming to the other properties of this. It is having 2 valency electrons. So the number of valence electrons is 2. When it is having 2 electrons and all these are metals, then what about the common oxidation state? If you observe the common oxidation state, what it will be? Having only 2 electrons, so they are metals, so they always lose those 2 electrons. So second A group elements also exhibit +2 oxidation state only. Okay, so they don't exhibit other oxidation states. Okay, they always exhibits only +2. Okay. Now coming to the other properties. If you observe the other properties, coming to the electropositive nature, we know these are also highly electropositive, but when compared to first A group elements, these are less electropositive. Okay, when compared to the other metals in the periodic table, they are highly electropositive. But compared to first A, means alkali metals, these are less electropositive than first A group. Okay? As these are less electropositive, then what about their reactivity? So compared to the other metals, they are highly reactive. Okay? So these are also high reactive. But when compared to first A group, they are less reactive. Okay? So compared to first A, they are less reactive. But when compared to the other metals, these are also highly reactive metals. Okay? And even these will also be act as good reducing agents. But compared to first A, these are weak. Okay? Note on this information about second A group. Now coming to the next group, let us discuss about the next third A group. Okay, so by looking at the diagram wise you may get confusion. Sir, after second A we have third B, but you written third A. Okay, as I told you, let us mainly discuss about the S block as well as V block related groups. Okay, the middle whatever the 10 groups are there, those are generally transition and inner transition elements. The mainly we need to know the properties of these group. Okay, because all the 18 is not necessary. In detail in D block elements and F block elements lessons we have in the second year, that time we will discuss. Now coming to this third group, our normal numbering wise, which number you are getting for third A? If you count, we will get 13th number. So third A group is nothing but 13th group in the periodic table. Okay. Now what are the elements present in the third A group? Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. Okay. The 13th group elements are boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. Now, commonly this is known as boron family. Now first focus on the general electronic configuration. Somebody may get doubt, sir, for all these 8 groups we need to by heart this general electronic configuration or what? No. Remember one point. This group number will be represents the number of valency electrons in the group. Okay. So we are telling it as a third A group. So how many valence electrons are there? So coming to the number of valence electrons, there will be 3. Okay. Or whatever the number you are getting regarding the 13th group onwards, whatever the group number is there, from that you subtract 10. Okay. Then it gives the number of valency electrons. Okay. Here 13th group is there. So subtract 10. So 13 minus 10. How many number of valence electrons? 3 are there. Okay. Now, while writing the electronic configuration, how to write? Can you accommodate all the 3 electrons in the s orbital? No. The electrons first enter into s orbital only. Can you accommodate 3 electrons in the s orbital? No. So the electron configuration, if you observe, it is ns2. Still, how many is left? 1 electron is left. After s orbital, the electron goes to which orbit? Which orbital? So p orbital. So how many will be there? 3. Okay. So 2 are in the s orbital, 1 is in the p orbital. So the general electronic configuration of 13th group elements is ns2 np1. Okay. For example, you tell me what is the general valency shell electronic configuration of aluminium. You don't turn the pages. Just simply by using this order, you try to tell me. We know the first element belongs to which period? The first element of the group belongs to second period. Now aluminium belongs to which period? It is belongs to third period. Third period means n value is 3. So its electronic configuration is 3s2 3p1. Okay. If not, now you can check from the notes. Right. Now for example, if I ask you to write for gallium it will be 4s2 4p1. Indium 5s2 5p1. Thallium 6s2 6p1. Thallium means, don't confuse and write as a TH. TH means thorium. So write clearly TL, thallium. Okay. Now coming to other properties, if you see. Now coming to the nature of this, if you observe, generally boron is having non-metallic character. Aluminium as well as gallium is having both metallic and non-metallic. So this is known as metalloid characteristics. Coming to aluminium is mostly having the metal character. Along with that, there is some non-metallic character. Non-metallic nothing but metalloid character. Means metal, non-metal characters we know. Okay. Metal means what? Now properties in detail we will discuss. Now it is not the correct two. Now coming to the other metals. Indium and the thallium. Okay. Now coming to these are purely metals. Okay. Now one thing we forgot to discuss, that is oxidation state. Here the oxidation state of these 13 group elements is interesting one. Now observe here. How many electrons are there? 3 electrons are there. If they are having 3 electrons, what will be their common oxidation state? They exhibit plus 3 as the common oxidation state. Because it will be difficult to gain 5 more electrons. Than gaining 5 electrons, then even though it is having non-metal character, still it will be ready to lose those 3 electrons. Okay? Now here, once observe this one, there is a small concept, inert pair effect concept is there. When we discuss about 13th group elements, we will discuss clearly about the inert pair effect. Or at the end of the lesson, periodic classification, separately we will discuss about inert pair effect. So because of that inert pair effect, remember these elements can also exhibit plus 1 oxidation state also. Okay. So in the notes you write clearly they exhibit plus 1 oxidation state due to inert pair effect. Okay. Briefly I will tell you what is inert pair effect. Inert pair effect means the pair of electrons present in the s orbital will be reluctant to participate in bonding. Because, for example, if the element is lost this 1 electron, what happened? It is having 2 electrons and those are completely filled. Nothing but we call this electronic configuration as a doublet configuration. Even we know, like helium, we have idea. Helium is a noble gas. What is the electronic configuration of helium? If you observe the electronic configuration of helium, it is 1s2, is a noble gas, is a stable one or not. So that is why to get stability, these elements, mainly the bottom elements, like gallium, indium and thallium, those bottom elements mainly exhibit even plus 1. Because after losing they will get stability by doublet configuration also. Okay. Even in detail about what is inert pair effect definition wise, let us discuss at the end of this lesson. Okay. Now coming to the next, 4th A group is nothing but 14th group. So what are the elements in the 14th group? A very most important element in the periodic table, that is carbon, right? Why it is that much important? Because we know the compounds of carbon are mainly the compounds of carbon formed with hydrogen. We know hydrocarbons, and the chemistry about these particular elements, compounds of this carbon, we will discuss as a branch of chemistry known as organic chemistry, right? So that much important element this one. Now coming to the other elements of this 14th group, carbon, silicon, germanium, stannum, nothing but commonly called as a tin. Plumbum, commonly called as lead. Okay, so you know about Latin name. So Latin name is stannum, plumbum, but commonly we call it as tin and lead. Okay, so the elements of this 14th group are carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. Okay, and these are commonly called as carbon family. And so it is present in the fourth A group. As I already told you, what will be the number of valence electrons? The number of valence electrons is equals to 4. Okay? Because if you go with this number, I told you from 13 onwards, whatever the number is there, from that we have to subtract 10. From 14, if we subtract 10, the number of valence electrons remains is 4. Okay? When 4 electrons are there, then how to write the general electronic configuration? You observe the general electronic configuration. 4 electrons are there. First the electrons will be enter into s orbital. Then the next coming electrons will be enter into p orbital. So previously 3 electrons are there in 13th group. We got ns2 np1. Now in this group we will get ns2 np2. Okay. So now how many electrons are there in the valency shell? We have 4 electrons. So let us discuss about the oxidation state. Oxidation state means we know we need to know how many they can gain, how many they will lose. So before that, let us discuss about their nature. If you observe their carbon and even silicon, generally they will have more non-metallic nature. Germanium is purely metalloid. Tin is also having some metalloid characteristics. And coming to the plumbum will be a metal. Okay. Now, as they are non-metals, so they have tendency to gain the electrons. Okay. Even the metalloids also will have tendency to gain the electron. So, if you observe this, they are having 4 electrons in the valency shell. So how they will get stability? We know the first thing, the element gets stability by getting octet configuration. Means they need to get 8 electrons in the valency shell. Okay, right? So to get 8 electrons in the valency shell, what about the number of electrons to be gained by the element? Already they have 4, so they need to gain 4 more. So they will exhibit the oxidation state as a 4. What will be the charge? Minus 4 plus 4. The sign will be minus because they are able to gain the electron. Okay. So this minus 4 oxidation state will be exhibited by carbon and silicon mainly. Okay. Remember that point. Now coming to the other oxidation state. Okay, if they are not the remaining elements, as because of metallic nature, they may not gain the 4 electrons. They don't gain the 4 electrons. So what they will do? They will lose the 4 electrons. So the common oxidation state they will exhibit is plus 4. Okay. Even along with that, they will exhibit plus 2. I think you understood why they exhibit plus 2. The same reason what we discussed in the 13th group. So if they lose these 2, they will get this doublet configuration. So that is when these bottom elements, the bottom elements if you observe, the 2 electrons in this s orbital will be reluctant to participate in the chemical bonding. So that is why they readily loses 2 electrons easily. Okay. So that's why they will exhibit this plus 2 oxidation state. Reason what? We call this as, this plus 2 is mainly due to inert pair effect. As I already told you about this, in detail we will discuss at the end of the lesson. Okay. Now coming to the next group. 15th group is nothing but 5A group. What are the elements in 5A group? After carbon family we have nitrogen family. The elements are nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, stibbium. Okay, Sb is known as stibbium. Is nothing but antimony. And the last element is bismuth. Okay. If you observe these elements, the 5A group elements, the nitrogen, phosphorus, As means arsenic. Don't write arsenic means Ar because Ar means argon. Arsenic symbol is As. Antimony and nothing but stibbium. Latin name of antimony is stibbium. So that is why its symbol is Sb. Last element bismuth. Okay. Now, as like the previous, this is known as nitrogen family. Now, 5A group. So, what about the number of valence electrons? The number of valence electrons present in this is 5. Okay. So, 15th group, 15 minus 10. So, 5 valency electrons. I hope you already got idea what will be its general electronic configuration. The general electronic configuration, if you observe, its configuration will be Ns2 Np3. Okay. The general electronic configuration of these elements is Ns2 Np3. Right. Now, what about their oxidation states? Just one point. Let us discuss about the nature. Then we will discuss oxidation state. Now we know nitrogen and phosphorus, these are purely non-metallic character. Arsenic and antimony will have metalloid characteristic. Bismuth is purely will have metallic nature. Okay. So starting elements non-metals, bottom metals, middle metalloid. Now coming to the oxidation states. Plus 5 is a common oxidation state. But when they have 5 electrons, to get octet configuration, they need to gain 3 more. Instead of losing 5, it will be better to gain 3. So as these starting elements are non-metals, the nitrogen and the phosphorus, they commonly shows oxidation state as a -3. Okay? Minus why we used? Because they are able to gain 3 electrons. Then they get octet configuration. Okay? But coming to the common oxidation state, but commonly all these elements exhibits the oxidation state as a +5. Okay? The common oxidation state of these 5A group elements is +5. 4A group +4. Second A +2. So in the same way, 5th A group, including nitrogen and phosphorus, every element of this group can exhibit +5. Okay? Even they are exhibited different oxidation states like +3, +2, +1 also. Nitrogen exhibits different oxidation states. Okay? In the starting basic concepts of chemistry, we will discuss about their oxidation states, right? Even in the redox reactions also we will discuss. Remember this mainly, these two elements exhibits commonly as a -3, but all these elements of 5A commonly exhibits oxidation state as +5, and along with that they will exhibit +3 also. Okay? But not because of the inert pair effect. Okay? The inert pair effect mainly observed in the case of this 3rd A group elements and 4th A group elements. Even nitrogen also can exhibit +3, phosphorus also can exhibit +3. Okay? Now coming to the next group, that is sixth A group. According to normal numbering wise, it is 16th group. Now coming to the elements of 16th group: oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and last one is polonium. Okay, note down the names carefully. Oxygen, sulfur we know, Se, selenium. Okay, Te, tellurium. Te means tellurium. Se, selenium. Last Po, polonium. Okay, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. So Se is selenium, okay, tellurium and polonium. Now, coming to the common name, these are known as chalcogens. Okay, these are also called as the 16th group. Elements are also called as chalcogens. Why they called as chalcogen means, or what is the meaning of this chalcogens is here. These group elements, mainly oxygen and sulfur, these are ore formers. Okay, so chalcogen means ore formers. Ore means generally we know minerals and ores. Generally we say how these metals are available in the nature, mostly in the compound form. So that the compound form in which they are available in the nature is known as minerals or ores. Okay, so most of these metals are available as the respective oxides or sulfides. Okay, except the very rare these noble metals like gold, silver, platinum, these less reactive metals are there. Except that most of the other metals will be available in the nature as their respective oxides as well as sulfides. Okay, they are available in the earth crust. So that's why these are known as ore formers, are also called as chalcogens. Now, as these are belongs to 6th group or 16th group, tell me the number of valence electrons. The number of valence electrons are 6. Okay, 6th A group, so the number of valence electrons 6. When they have 6 valence electrons, what about the general electronic configuration? As we all know, 6 electrons are there means ns2. Next remaining 4 will be present in p orbital. So the total number of valence electrons is 6. Configuration is ns2 np4. Okay. Now coming to the nature of these, oxygen and sulfur purely non-metals. Selenium and tellurium are purely metalloid characteristics. Coming to polonium is a metal. We need radioactive one also. Now last point, coming to the oxidation state. As we all know, they have 6 electrons, so they need to gain only 2 more. So that is where they will show the common oxidation state. As for mainly for oxygen and sulfur, they will mainly show -2 as their common oxidation state. Okay, but coming to the remaining metals they don't gain electrons. So the common oxidation state of all these elements is they have 6 electrons in the valency shell, so they are ready to lose those 6 electrons. So that's why they exhibit +6. Even they exhibit +4 also as their common oxidation state. Okay, but regarding oxygen, we need to know one point. It don't show plus 4. Okay. Oxygen exhibits the oxidation state as minus 2. Along with that, it exhibits minus 1. We all know oxygen exhibits oxidation state as minus 1 in the case of peroxides. Okay. Oxygen exhibits the oxidation state as a minus 1 only in peroxide. So most common oxidation state of oxygen is minus 2. Okay. Even when it reacts with the fluorine, it exhibits plus 1 and plus 2 also. Okay. Even it shows minus half in the case of superoxides. Right. Oxygen exhibits minus half. Minus half nothing but O2 power minus 1. This is in the case of superoxides. In redox reactions lesson, we will discuss in detail about oxidation states. But oxygen oxidation states are important, so that is why mentioned in this topic. Okay. So oxygen mostly shows minus 2, but shows minus 1 in peroxides, minus half in superoxides, plus 1 plus 2 also only when it reacts with the fluorine. Okay. Right. Now coming to the next group, that is 7th A group, nothing but 17th group, a well famous group. We all know the elements: fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. Okay, the elements of 17th group are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. Now, what is the common name of these? These are also known as, we all know this, they are also known as halogens. Why they are called as halogens? And what is the meaning of this word is, these are salt formers. Okay? With the metals they form salts. We all know NaCl, KCl, all these are salts. So these are salt formers. So that is why these are known as halogens. Now, as they are present in the 17th group, what about the number of valence electrons? There will be 7 valence electrons. 7th A group contains 7 valency electrons. So if you observe their general electronic configuration, if you observe, it is a NS2, NP5. The previous group NS2, NP4. Now 17th group will have 7 valence electrons. So electronic configuration is NS2, NP4. For example, if you observe for fluorine, fluorine is a first element. First element means which period? Second period. So N value is 2. So fluorine electronic configuration just recently written in the notes as a 2s2 2p5 valency shell. So last shell. For example, if we ask for iodine, can you write atomic number wise? If you want to write, it will take more time, right? Instead of atomic number wise, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, if you remember, fluorine second period, chlorine third period, bromine fourth period, iodine fifth period. So if I ask for iodine, you can write simply it as 5s2 5p5. Okay, that is why I told you to remember the elements of all these groups whatever I give you. Okay, now coming to the last one, oxidation state. One more point, you mentioned that all these are non-metals and highly reactive non-metals. Okay, so write that point here. all these elements are highly reactive non-metals. Okay. Now coming to their oxidation state, all these exhibits -1 as their common oxidation state. Okay. But along with the -1, they can exhibit, they have 7 electrons, so they will exhibit +7, as well as they can exhibit +5 oxidation states also. Okay. Other than that, they will exhibit +4, +3, +2, +1 also. But commonly they exhibit either +1 and +5. But they can exhibit +4, +3, +2 and even +1 also. Okay. In 17th group elements lesson, there in detail we will discuss about this. But coming to the speciality of fluorine, we know fluorine is the most electronegative element in the periodic table, right? Okay, means it has having the tendency to gain electron from any element in the periodic table. Okay, so no one can gain electron from fluorine. So fluorine never loses electron. So that is why it exhibits always -1 only. Okay, so fluorine exhibits the -1 only. It don't show +7. It don't show +5 and other states. Okay, it always exhibits the -1 only. Okay, and one more important point about these 17th group elements is these are highly electronegative elements. One more point, these are good oxidizing agents. First A group elements are good reducing agents, but 17th group elements are good oxidizing agents. Note down. Okay, about the zero group and how to name even the representation of the elements with more than atomic number more than 100. We will discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you.